I've hit it. Hopefully it is live. Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Sorry?
There's a little bit of a delay. Okay, I think it's going live now.
Hopefully it is live.
Yeah.
Okay, you can turn the volume down on that. Good evening, everybody. Hello, or good morning, wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in. Speaking of time zones, I will get on and finish the clocks. Don't worry. Right, we're here.
We are indeed.
I've been Christmas shopping on Amazon and having a nightmare today, so
And
I haven't looked anything up about anybody. I'll just have a quick look. You can have a look and see who's here.
Yes. Yes, of course. Right, we've got Princess Anne. She's new to the channel. You haven't seen Princess Anne on here before. The Princess Royal, I should say. Welcome, Princess Anne, because there's more and more members of the royal family joining us each evening.
Which is brilliant. We love that.
We do indeed. Diana T's on from Liverpool. Well, nice to see you, Diana. Looking good. Subscribers. Nutmeg's on. Foxy's. I'm glad to hear your mother's feeling better, Foxy. That's good. That's a positive thing. Excellent news. Princess Carol, Lady Jane, Victoria TH, Samantha Mustard McDowell. I've already said Princess Anne. Yes, I'm in disguise. Yes, I'm sure you are. Ria's here, of course. Ria. Archie. Prince Archie, I should say. Auntie Anne. Imogen's here. Do I pronounce that right? Imogen? How do you pronounce that?
Imogen.
Moj. Sandy. Jodie's here. Sharon Seaver. Harry, Duke of Sussex. Kaylee Rayner. Anna Perkins. Judah Rosie. I've said that before. Katie Not to Oneself. Family Legion. No, that's. I didn't pronounce that right. Kazati, Elke Medina, from America, Danielle. Oh, that was loads. How many have we got? 237 already. That's super cool. Where's Meghan? I saw Meghan on here earlier.
She's bound to be there, isn't she? She's everywhere.
She's probably watching. She said she was going to
be drinking poisonous mushroom coffee.
Threatening to cancel Elaine. Because Elaine wasn't worshipping us sufficiently. And so she's gone off. She's getting her trolls and people to cancel Elaine. Poor Elaine. What did Elaine ever do? Scott, C172. Elaine, there she is. Elaine Williams. Meghan's working. I doubt it, Elaine. I don't think she's got... There's more work in a sick note. Right. Where are we? What have you been doing today, Fiona?
Well, I'm just looking for something.
What are you looking for?
I found a solicitor's page today because I'm determined to get to the bottom of this costs hearing, how much it's going to cost Harry. And I can't find that one, but I think I found another one. I don't know how up to date this is, but it is really involved. On the successful conclusion of the case, the first step for the receiving party is to draw up a detailed bill of costs outlining the cost of any work done, as well as disbursements. The bill should then be served on the paying party alongside a notice of commencement to initiate detailed assessment of costs. And it goes on and on and on. I can put links to these kind of websites. And they basically, the two sides seem to argue the toss. And then the other side will go through their cost list going, that's unreasonable. And it's really lengthy. And then at the end, they go to a judge and the judge goes through it all. So, all this idea winner takes all it's just not quite that straightforward. As I suspected, it's very, very similar to in Gibraltar. Very similar. I'm so excited. Christmas is the best time of year. I've got to say, I don't feel very Christmassy at the moment. That will probably come later. And I've got to get the turkey out, and I usually get everything ready Christmas Eve.
You brought your halogen oven this evening.
I have, yes, because I have to do, the turkey's too big to do potatoes and everything in it. Oh, I need to get carrots as well. I forgot them. We'll have a bit of everything, even if it's just you and me.
Is Benji coming to join us?
That's complicated. We're not sure.
I think Lady Faith's working. She'll be jet setting about in the sky.
And that's the problem. Benji might be jet setting as well. We were talking about it today, and he doesn't know yet, so we're waiting to see. So the chances are it's going to be just you and me for Christmas. Ben bought us both Christmas presents.
Oh, it's a bit rude.
Which arrived. We'll put a different comment up. From Amazon, and he just put them under the tree. Amazon pack, not even a bow on them, nothing.
He opened them, looked in, and went, yeah, and he just put some gaffer tape over it and a piece of paper saying, Dad. I thought,
there's one for me and one for Graham, and I know
we will open them on Christmas Day.
I know what I got because he ordered it through our Amazon account. So
yeah, so you've seen it all.
So I think maybe I've paid for it all.
Well, I bought me a new watch, which I'll give to you to give to me on Christmas Day, so I won't be disappointed. That's if it arrives, because it came from Amazon with a company called Sir.
Oh, don't go on about Sir.
As we know, Sir don't deliver. The whole reason we buy from Amazon is because they don't
like going into the marina security because they find it difficult to get out. The marina is like a fortress.
Supposed to be here by 10 o'clock.
I had this with the woodman, and a delivery van can be stuck in our marina for up to an hour before somebody lets them out. So they don't like going into the marina, so they say no, come and get it. But here at the house is a different matter. I presume we've had it delivered here and not to London. I hope you checked the address.
Yeah, it's
right. Then it'll be fine.
As soon as I saw Sir, I thought it's not coming. We're going to get on.
I get loads of packages here from Sir. It's just the marina.
I bet it doesn't come. It's supposed to be here today.
Well,
Graham, can you pilot my private jet? I certainly can, Harry. Yes, not a problem.
Yes, he could. I'm sure. I have every confidence. Yeah, so anyway, I know what Ben got me because I had to order something else on Amazon and I saw what it was, and it's actually quite cool. I might even do a video using it.
What?
Do you want some water to go with that?
No.
Just to make it last a bit.
I started a little earlier.
Yes, Graham's ready for Christmas. It's just me.
I am.
I just don't
I'm getting
feel
into the Christmas spirit. I haven't done Christmas spirit yet.
Particularly Christmassy at the moment. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we've been in England and the weather was cold.
My mince pies have been invaded by ants. I opened a brand new packet tonight, and the packet was full of ants. I went, "You bastards!" Oh, I hate them. They crawl into the kitchen. They get in all the cupboards. They get everywhere.
Right.
Anyway,
they are tenacious little creatures. I admire them greatly.
They are indeed. They are indeed.
It's because the kitchen's right next to the
Lady Jane. $2. Thank you very much, Lady Jane.
Very kind.
Thank you
very,
indeed.
Very kind. I'm sure Graham will find a use for that, won't you?
Well, it all goes into Lady Faith's thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
She'll have another.
So what's happening? Fly Harry's jet for him. Point it at Antarctica. Then.
I don't want to go anywhere cold. I don't like cold places. That's why I've never been skiing. I often say to Fiona, we could.
I'm surprised, King Charles, your wife doesn't like a gin and tonic. I heard she likes a gin and tonic.
Oh, yes.
Nothing wrong with that. If you can be bothered, I don't drink it because it's a bit involved, isn't it? You've got to have ice and lemon and.
There's on the Baileys and
hot chocolate. Very nice for you. That's style.
Bang out. I don't think Learjets have seats, do they? The ejection seats.
Well, maybe you could open a door and can you jump from something like that? You can't.
You could open the door. You could open the door.
Right. I don't know.
You have to decompress, I think, first. Anyway, now, hello, fans of Graham.
Glad to hear your mum is feeling better, Foxy. Very, very pleased to hear that.
Thank you, Mary. King Charles again. She smokes cigars. Camilla smokes cigars.
Good for her. Why not? I think that's very liberating. I'm surprised Meghan doesn't, as she's such a feminist. Yeah, don't get behind on the
Women's
comments
rights.
tonight.
I'm trying to keep up.
Have you seen the latest photos of the grifters and shrinking kids? No, I haven't. Which particular photos are they? All I'm aware of is that all I saw today, and I got it from YouTube, from POV, who I subscribe to, and he said there were, and he's right, there are lots of news reports that they were in Costa Rica, I think, and I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word of it. There are no photographs, and we all know what Meghan's like in a photograph. Are there photographs? Is that what you're talking about? But I can't see any. If anybody can tell me, that would be lovely. But this morning,
in the car park again today?
No, there were no photographs. It was just articles. But POV's wrote Spanish papers, publications, saying they'd been in Costa Rica, but without photograph. Even with photographs, I'm not sure I believe it.
I've got my Meghan wig, and I wanted to get Fiona to take pictures of me from behind. We could do it in black and white, and it would be just like the real Meghan photos.
In a car park somewhere, you mean?
In a car park, yeah.
With a stress patch on your wrist.
I have to hold it backwards. You can tell it's Meghan because it's the back of her head.
Meghan would be livid if you did that.
No.
There is, here we go, there is pics out now with the kids that people reckon they're photoshopped. Oh, let me see if I can find them.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, all their photographs are out of date, aren't they? They're all very misleading. Christmas cards taken in the summer, and all of them do that. Are these on X?
Princess Anne says all their photos are old or photoshopped. All in black and white as well.
Let's have a look.
Sidley twins just posted.
Ah, right. So it's on their channel, is it? I wonder where they got that from. Let me have a look.
Trevor's just posted Christmas lights spectacular. He was off to the Christmas lights, wasn't he?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, they do make a big effort down here with Christmas lights as well. Right, let's have a look at the Sidley twins. Oh.
I'm putting Fiona on the laptop and Graham on the mobile. It's the same video though, Lady J. You know. Thank you anyway. Thank you for the extra hit. I do appreciate that. Hang on. Just clicked on the wrong one and it moves as I clicked on it. It's gone.
So have they got a video of it, or
They showed 3 completely different photos of 3 different arches wearing different heads.
Oh, I think I might have seen that. So it's not a recent thing that Meghan's officially released, you mean? Not a Auntie Anne, is that your pics on OnlyFans?
Michelle
You think
Pope,
Anne's on OnlyFans?
Michelle Pope. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I missed that.
So yes, I'm not seeing any particular new ones, but I mean, it feels to me, because people have been saying they don't think they're together. So, let's just release the puff piece saying they're in Puerto Rico having another holiday together. I wonder if they employ a couple of lookalikes. How sad would that be? Yeah, this POV guy, whatever video he does about them, he's got a picture of Meghan and Harry, and they both have the word moron. Really, look. And he just refers to them as the 2 morons. He's quite spiky, isn't he, POV? I don't know what POV stands for, but I do subscribe to him. No, I'm not seeing anything new. I mean, surely even Meghan can't release something every single day leading up to Christmas, or can she? I do see Puff PC saying they're going to form their own family Christmas tradition, which sort of seems like they've conceded they're not going anywhere near Sandringham. Wouldn't it be a shocker, though, if they really turned up there? Oh, my God. I shall definitely watch that. Sorry for my half messages. Neuro issues here. No problem. You half message away as much as you like. Oh, I've got an itchy nose.
1 minute body, 2 minutes in. Michelle.
What does that mean?
On the buggy about 2 minutes.
Oh, maybe in the Sidley twins video. Hi guys, did you manage to pass all my jokes to Trevor with Fatima Whitbread spelling mistake? I haven't, Michelle. I haven't actually.
Not so far, Michelle. No.
No.
Sorry.
Keep staying near the bottom, otherwise
I'm trying to
get really
scroll
behind.
down, really, 'cause they keep coming in thick and fast.
Meghan's mole posted them on her ex account. Thank you. I'll go and have a look. I think I might have seen them mode.
Someone said that she'd been demonetised.
I heard that, but I don't know if she's been remonetised or not. Hang on, let me go and have a look.
Yeah, she has. She's got loads of unread emails. And
Yes.
it's so hard. I'm still catching up on my comments from London.
I have got. I
access the comments.
I looked yesterday because I sent Nutmeg a quick email because of the diffuser that she sent, and the last time I looked, I had 1,053 unread emails, it just overwhelms me to look at it. So I'm going to try and do like 10 or 15 a day in the morning before Graham gets up. But I mean, it's a lot. Right, Meghan's mole.
POV, point of view, Lisa H says.
Right, point of view.
Yeah.
Right, got her. Let's have a look. Oh, I see. Right, so she's put a selection of photographs. One that's from the Netflix docuseries, definitely. One from I don't know, some weird outing with Harry. And one with Meghan.
Golf cart.
Well, she's quite large for her age, isn't she?
Flamingo thighs on display. Looks like Lily hasn't grown. Well, the dolls, they're expensive, aren't they, I suppose?
Well, I told you
if they are.
Not my theory.
I don't know. I'm yet to be convinced either way.
Not my theory at all. I mean, the thing is, she is going to try and rebuild herself, not rebrand, but she's going to try and rebuild herself as an innocent little victim, more so than ever. You wait and see. You wait and see. I've already had people on X, not sugars, but like bystanders, saying, "Oh, she's so innocent. She's so innocent." And it's like, where do I even start? Where do you begin to tell the story? And people are buying into it already.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
How's your submarine getting on?
I haven't touched it since because I've been a bit busy with you this year. When would I have done that? In London?
Christine, that's the question.
Yes, I will get back to it though in the summer. Definitely. We went down to the boat today, didn't we?
We did.
And Graham put the rest of the door back together on the car.
Yes, I got all the inside panel for the door. That's back on the car now, so it's all done. Windows going up and down, all working.
Yep.
And
the boat's great.
I brought a few bits and pieces.
Brought the halogen oven back to do the roast potatoes and carrots in for Christmas Day.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking forward to, I think, is just the actual day. I'm absolutely stumped. So I know what to get you for Christmas.
I've already got a few things on Amazon to give to you to give to me, but I won't be disappointed. Excellent, Fiona. That's just what I wanted.
Okay, well, I've chosen at least one thing for you, just one.
I've got one thing for you coming as well.
I chose something for Ben. I sent him a
Sir
link.
won't be delivering it.
Sent him a link on the WhatsApp, and he said, "I don't want that. Old men wear that." I know. I couldn't believe it.
Such
so I've got to find something else. You've got to keep it at the bottom because then you'll see how it's flicking up. If you scan up, it just freezes and you become unaware, lulls you into a false sense of security that the comments aren't still coming in. No, look, you see you've scrolled up.
Fiona has a sub, isn't that, Graham? Did you see a leather collar with a ring? No, I'm not her sub. Unfortunately, she won't have none of that.
Let's have a look. Tudor Rosie. Oh, right. You guys are having a chat. I would promote Discord, but nobody seems to use it these days. I know, Ria. I know, and I still never got into it with my new phone.
I never figured it out either.
Yeah, it's more complicated. I've been in my hole like a good boy.
You have a hole?
A shoebox. something, maybe.
Oh.
Um,
Foxy's on. I was watching your video today, Foxy, from Churchill Square in the rain.
yes, he was. He was asking me, is that the clock tower? Where's the bus
Foxes
stop?
are very, very multicoloured these days.
Well, it was saying to me, where's the bus stop on Western Road? Western Road is one continuous bus stop. It's all buses and taxis. No cars allowed up there. I'm going to shave my beard. I feel old.
Someone said I hadn't shaved yesterday, and I meant to say...
I'm not sure Charles has a beard. I think you're getting muddled as to which character you're being.
It's not that I haven't shaved, it's I'm between beards. You see, I had a beard, shaved it off, and now I'm growing another beard, so it's not a case of not shaving.
I've never figured Discord either. No, me neither. I'm never quite sure if it's a group conversation or private. Yes, Foxy is lovely. I'm so excited. Yes. We got a bit of bad news in law in London. Oh, dear. Sorry to hear that. I know, Ria, I know once you're used to it, it's just the getting used to it and finding your way around. I found it a little bit more difficult.
Old people in technology, you see.
Yeah, Ria is a real techie.
She is, she's very good.
And Jodie, that's why they do all the modding, because I'm not as good at that sort of thing.
Winston Churchill.
Oh, Brenda. Black Belt Barrister has spoke on his channel about Harry's case. He explained about Harry's and the papers costs. They have until May, June to sort it out. I would imagine it could go on longer than that, from what I've read about it. I think these court hearings, they love adjourning things, don't they? At all sorts of courts. Graham, when I was in the RN, I had to shave 3 times a day. Really?
I thought you could grow a beard in the Royal Navy.
Mm.
Unless you're a lady.
Hello to wonderful Trevor.
There's Trevor on it. Someone said hello, Trevor. I didn't see.
Have you bought me emerald earrings?
No.
Didn't think so.
I don't buy her anything because she says, I don't want anything.
Right.
So unless she specifically says, I want this or I want that, I say, you pick it and I'll give it to you.
Well, you always get the wrong thing.
I know. We've had this conversation before.
Oh, we do video games as well. Everybody is waiting for GTA 6 to come out, aren't they? They love to leave the year, yeah.
Ben's just got this PlayStation 6, is it, or 5? I don't know. Something like that. So it looks like a bungalow, like a futuristic bungalow. This PlayStation, the new one.
I haven't seen it.
It's halfway up the stairs.
Yeah, I heard about that. He was in the house with the guard dog and a load of his other mates. God, you should have seen it when I got back.
Hemorrhoid earrings. Trevor, when are we going on the lash? Dread to think.
Hello, Rachel Green. Sorry, I'm late to the party. I was just spending my hard-earned pennies on some clever coffee. Not. I agree. It's something like $28 a bag, isn't it? Or is it even more than that? And the sugars have convinced it's going to sell out. Because in fact, one of them said something like, so what if she's promoting a cottage industry? Well, it's a bit more than that. She's invested money in it. She's not just randomly walked up to a coffee company and gone, I'll help you promote this. So some of the sugars, they haven't been following her for that long, have they? They don't know that she's actually put money into it. Who pays for all these barristers in Harry's court case? Hopefully not we, the taxpayer. Well, the only one where the taxpayer will pay is the one he's taking against the Home Office. The one with the newspapers, no, I don't think that. Well, I say the taxpayers won't, but where does Harry get his money from? So if it's from his family,
his lawyers apparently have just paid him loads of money for the privilege of serving him. He's just made 100 million, according to Meghan. I read it earlier.
Perhaps Harry and Meghan will
If Meghan said it, it must be right.
Perhaps they'll start dishing out their own American knighthoods or something. They could have investitures, couldn't they, in their 16 bathroom house?
Apparently, Meghan is the most senior member of the American royal family.
She could have a sword. thee, sir. She could do that, couldn't she?
Only if they pay her.
Like Sealand.
If they pay her enough.
She could charge $1,000 a title. I bet there'd be people out there that would buy it as well, especially they'd probably pay extra. Some of the loonies, the sugars, they'd crowdfund for it, wouldn't they? Go mental. And total meltdown.
Not cancelled yet then, Elaine? You still here?
There was reviews on the coffee and people said it smelled like feet and tasted like shit. Yes, well, I mean, I fear anything Meghan goes near is going to be slammed, isn't it? It's not going to do particularly well. Surely the legal team in all these cases need to take a substantial retainer before embarking on the work. Well, I mean, I would have thought a member of the royal family comes with a pretty good credit rating just because of who they are. In fact, they probably had a load of tick without even credit searches, credit reference agency. Oh, it's just Prince Harry. He's one of the Windsors. He can have credit. He might have run up a whole hell of a load of credit. So Meghan too. But now that they're on the downsies and they're not getting work, and that's since South Park and all that and Family Guy, I suspect people might be a little bit more cautious, because there have been other members of the royal family, like Prinny, George the Fourth, wasn't he? Yes, George the Fourth.
Yeah,
was famous for running up debts. Lots and lots and lots and lots of debts.
Yeah.
Don't care.
He'd squander, and
Why people go
no matter how many
credit?
pairs of socks he bought, he never seemed to have any.
Well, you're going to have black out of there, aren't you? No, he was famous for it. I mean, millions in debt, and nobody cared. Fiona, you want to give Meghan a sword? Well, maybe a fairy godmother wand. You know, like one of those princess costumes. She could have that with a star on the end, couldn't she? I dubbed thee of my kingdom, Montecito. You can see it now, can't you? That would be hilarious. That would be the full swing, wouldn't it? Everyone would be like, she is a nutter. It's official. Like the Kaiser Wilhelm ended up living in a sort of Lilliputian world, didn't he, in Holland? He had servants that dressed up as like generals and stuff with all chicken feathers and stuff. The Kaiser Wilhelm. He had little toy soldiers he could move around his garden and stuff. So
you can go and visit him. You can go and visit his house. You can see all his helmets and things, and the spikes on the top of his uniforms.
I've been continuing reading that book that Royal Grift recommended, and I'm now up to Edward VIII. And oh boy, there's a lot I didn't realise. I really didn't realise, because of what happened to the Romanovs and all the communist stuff. A lot of monarchs and aristocrats, the reason they were into the far right was to get away from the far left that might overthrow them. And oh boy,
the commies.
Apparently, according to this book, he was under heavy surveillance from MI5. They don't make much mention of MI6, even though he moved to France. But I suppose they had him under surveillance when he was Prince of Wales, and even when he was king, even though he was the boss. And there are some extraordinary stories in there. He was friends with Mosley, and apparently David said things that even shocked Mosley about Jewish people. He was an anti-Semite. And MI5 say, you know, he said this to Mosley on this day, but and they put a little quote in and stuff. And even Mosley was like, my God, the king is an anti-Semite. So they really wanted rid of Edward. Wallis was an excuse, very much an excuse. She was convenient for them, and she had right-wing opinions, according to this book. Very strong right-wing opinions.
She got stuck with him, you said?
Yes, because what MI5 deduced, and it does tie in with
this
what
is according to
Lady...
your book. What was the book called?
I'll go and get it in a minute. It does tie in with a lot of things that Lady C said. I can't remember what I was saying. It's gone.
Wallis.
Yeah, but what about her?
Wallis was tied into. He was into. He was anti-Semite, and he was MI6, and they were following him. And
no, it was Wallis. I can't remember.
Wallis. I said, oh yes, she's stuck with him. And she was being under surveillance as well. And
yes, MI5 deduced from the conversations that Wallis and Ernest were fleecing David. That was the purpose. They just wanted to fleece him. Ernest wanted a title. He wanted no less than Baron. And so he wanted Wallis, not to put too fine a point on it, to have sex with the king to get the Baron title. And MI5 were listening to all their conversations, and they said they were quite blatantly a pair of con artists. And then when it started going south, and really a lot of people decided they just didn't want Edward as a king, he said he was going to marry Wallis, and well, we all know the story, and she really didn't. She didn't want that. And Ernest was like, "Well, sod off, you know, you've outrun your usefulness." So quite ruthless people, by the sounds of that book. I mean, I'm not saying they were like that. I wasn't there. Oh, you look just like Elizabeth Montgomery. Oh, thank you very much. I'm sure she never looked. I'm sure she never looked like me.
She can wiggle her nose, do the nose thing.
Graham was right, that photo. Oh yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
That was Elizabeth Montgomery, by the way, the photograph.
Lady Seastrode yesterday about the kids being Harry's, like, maybe not Meghan's DNA. Well, Wally always said she believed that the children existed. And she believed that it was Harry's DNA and Meghan's DNA. Wally's theory was that a surrogate was used. So she never actually said the kids don't exist. That was I really want to drive that point home, because as Moj pointed out, Moj has read Endgame, and she said there is a reference in Endgame to Wally. It doesn't name Wally, but there's reference. Omid says there was a prominent YouTuber who had the theory that Meghan was never pregnant. And what I don't want is for Omid or any of the sugars to start saying that Wally ever said the children didn't exist. I know a lot of people don't believe they exist. Graham's one of them, and a lot of you guys are others, but that wasn't Wally's thing. Her thing was just that Meghan was too old, geriatric pregnancy, and had eggs frozen, and that there were only half a dozen eggs. That's what I recall from watching her videos. I believe they have kids, but Meghan always said, just because I have kids doesn't mean I have to share them. That's a bit of a weird thing to say, isn't it? Wallis should have been queen, like M.E. Oh, me? Oh, yes, Meghan. Well, I mean, one person in particular, one of Edward's private secretaries, said, they quoted him, he said, Wallis Simpson is a hard-faced bitch. And apparently another massive problem, which didn't help, was apparently David was extremely abusive and rude to palace staff. And that does tie in with Lady C's book as well, where they were both sort of flinging their weight around and being difficult. And the more I read about them, the more they sound like Meghan and Harry. It's incredible. It's actually ironic, history repeating itself, because I've always been very sympathetic towards Wallis and sort of felt sorry for her, because she was always really dignified in the rare interviews that they did. But I'm getting a different picture now, totally. But then when she did the interviews, he'd abdicated and they'd been excommunicated and exiled. So I suppose she would have been a lot more polite than perhaps when she felt she was going to be queen. And the other thing MI5 said was that Wallis wanted to be queen. She did want to marry Edward as long as he was going to be the king and crowned the king, and she wanted to be queen. And these are people who've deduced this from, still can't believe there are MI5 and MI6 historians out there. I'll have to write down a list of their names. It's fascinating. It really is sort of horse's mouth stuff. And they even intercepted phone calls so that they cut out, they have a switchboard in Windsor, and they didn't want any of the staff in the Windsor switchboard to realise. So they intercepted it before that.
Right.
And apparently, quote, when David finally phoned her up and said, I'm just about to abdicate on the radio, she said, you bloody fool.
I would have liked to have seen Meghan's face. And he said, that's it, we're leaving. She was like, no.
Yeah, it took me my whole life to get here. Are you crazy?
I've got to show the royal family how it's done.
Yeah.
The Queen's doing it all wrong.
Well, I've got two theories I'm a bit torn on. One, they were thrown out. And the other one is that Harry just lost his temper, hot head, and walked out, and that Meghan didn't actually want that. She wanted the half in, half out, keep the titles, keep the connections, And she wound him up and wound him up. And Catherine's been mean to me. William's been mean to me. And Harry, hothead, just snapped and said, right, that's it. We'll go, even if we don't take a penny. And Meghan probably went, whoa, 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 whoa. She pushed his buttons too far, or they were just plain thrown out. You know, get out.
I think they're thrown out with a year to think about it.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. The Queen gave them a year to think about it and come back, gave Harry a year. I think what the Queen was saying to him is, once you're out, you're out. So we'd better give you a year to think about it. Maybe she thought his money would, what was that one? Petra? Oh no, Lisa. You don't get excommunicated and exiled for marrying a divorcee. Henry III was a divorcee, yes.
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII, you're absolutely right. Our current king and queen are both
Well, who would have
divorcees.
thrown Henry VIII off the throne? Just because the Pope couldn't throw him off the throne, could he?
Right, it's really complicated what happened with David, really complicated. And there are lots of names. There are some I recognise, David Lloyd George, Stanley Baldwin, people like that, Winston Churchill. But there are a lot of names that I don't recognise, especially private secretaries. The Archbishop at the time was involved. And it really was because they just didn't like that he was so sympathetic. And then when they found out they were going to go and do a tour of Germany, meet Hitler and all that. Oh, and Wallis was having sex with Hitler's London ambassador at the same time as David and Ernest, and 2 or 3 other gentlemen, yes. And I had read something similar in Lady C's book. I don't think she mentioned...
Is that in that book?
It's in that book, yes. And it's documented, you know, times, dates, they go in and out of building. So Hitler's man in London was having sex with Wallis Simpson before the abdication. So can you see how...
It's a good source of intelligence.
MI5 might have thought, holy shit. And also, he lived at the fort, Belvedere Fort in Windsor, which King George V had sort of allowed him to convert, put a swimming pool in. When he became king, one of his private secretaries was horrified, and I think this is in Lady C's book as well, that the red boxes that they used to give to George V, they'd give George V all MI5 papers and files because he liked to read all the gossip about the dirt on everybody, MI6 files. So they continued to do that with Edward VIII. And he would receive something like 8, 10 red boxes a day. And he was just leaving them lying around all over the place. And he was having parties with Wallis, and the ambassador for Hitler in London was going, swimming pool, boxes just there, tea stains being left over documents. Some people, he asked an American diplomat, a kind of a spy, "I'll do us a favour, mate, put them in your car and run them back down to Buckingham Palace." The private secretaries found out David was doing this sort of thing and thought, my God, this is under the Official Secrets Act, and the guy is letting God knows who read them. He doesn't seem to care. That freaked them out a lot. And I'm sure Lady C did mention that in the Queen Mother's book that she wrote. I mean, that's really quite outrageous, isn't it? So there is a lot in that book, a lot. I mean, I can't kind of wait to get to our Queen, because apparently Queen Elizabeth II had better intelligence than MI5 and MI6. I reckon she shocked quite a few prime ministers.
She must have set up another department that we don't even know about because it's secret.
Well, the royals
MI7.
Royals have eyes and ears everywhere, don't they? But she apparently, when she would meet her prime ministers, they'd say to her, this, that, and the other's happening, and she'd make like one little remark to let them know she knew the dirt. And quite a few of the prime ministers were like, shit, how did she know that? So they were all quite fearful of going to meet her. And apparently she never gave too much of the game away. Just let them know she knew what was really going on. The National Archive site has a lot of evidence that's been released for public view to back up everything you're saying. Yeah, that's where it's coming from. And we'll make a list of the historians' names, because some of you guys might want to look them up. They might even have YouTube channels. And it is fascinating. I mean, I especially love the First World War era. But I'm equally interested in Edward and Mrs. Simpson. It's weird, isn't it? Or do you think it was intentional? I wonder. I mean, I've got quite a bit to go through. Even, like I say, even the Elizabeth I part was quite interesting. She sort of had three lords. I think that's what Blackadder's loosely referring to. Her three people, spies, that would come and keep her informed of various things.
You're getting secret messages?
No, was just letting the kids know I've ordered their Christmas present. I'm glad I checked with Ben before I ordered that, because he said, "Oh,
I don't want it.
I'm not wearing that. Old men wear that."
I'm not wearing that. Stick it up your bottom. You wear it. I know how that feels. Such ingratitude after all the times I've saved her life.
Oh, Marcia found a book
What?
today that says Archie's Lucky Escape.
Archie's
And at
Lucky
the bottom
Escape.
it says, "I've met Archie." Oh, and Pam. Imagine if it had said Lily. It's a kid's book. I don't talk a lot on here. Once the chat starts, Foxy. Oh, feel free to chat away, especially amongst yourselves. That's kind of the point as well. I mean, especially if people are on their own over Christmas. You all have a get together and a good old gossip and theorise. Hi, Trevor.
Trevor's still in the car.
Still travelling home.
Well, he has to go a long way to see the lights, apparently.
Oh, God, you don't mean the ones in London, do you?
No, we went.
Oh, right. I was going to say, I wouldn't go away.
Luba took him to see the lights. He said it's an hour and a half, I think he said, didn't you, Trevor?
Oh, right.
To see the lights, and then it gets dark, and then you film the lights. And he's done a video. It popped up.
Oh, nice.
Which I'll watch after the live, of course. They see the Christmas lights spectacular. So.
Yes, we have them here, and they put them up on the end of November, don't they? We have all street lights everywhere.
The bulb.
Everywhere.
It changes colour.
No, the street lights in Spain.
Oh, right.
They put loads up. They make a big effort. Read early on in their marriage, the Queen got...
Oh, sorry.
God, how fast do you think I can read, man? Where's it gone now? There. Susan Reich.
Sorry.
Queen got into a terrible argument with Philip. He stormed out. There were paps. Yes, apparently that happened. And the people who did the cine film, they gave it to her as a present. They'd never released the film. Norfolk. Oh, Norfolk. Oh.
It's just above Suffolk.
Norwich. Because, I mean...
No, Norwich is miles, but it's right at the top in Norfolk, isn't it?
Daily Mail has a piece on royal nicknames. Evidently in 2019, George called himself Archie. Yes, I remember that, actually. Red Squirrel. Merry Christmas.
Oh, you've missed loads.
Well, you've got to skip a few. You can't show every single comment. That's how you fall behind.
Yeah, I know, but I try to include as many people.
People can read the comments anyway. They can see them. Traitor King is a very good book. Research includes newly released info. Yeah, yes, I've heard that one. But I am really enjoying this one as well. There was even a sort of a weird attempted assassination of Edward VIII. Apparently he was coming back from some military procession. And in his red thing and the bearskin, horseback, and a man stepped out of the crowd and produced a revolver been hidden in a newspaper and pointed it straight at him. And this woman pushed his arm and a load of people jumped on him. And nothing happened. Obviously, Edward wasn't killed. But then they had a big trial for this guy. And the guy said, well, I work for MI5. He said, I was told by MI5 to go and work for the Italians. The Italians wanted to assassinate him. So MI5 told me to get all the information and have a failed assassination attempt. And MI5 said, oh, no, he's just a petty thief and a burglar. He's a nobody and a drunk. And so he's a loser. We wouldn't use anybody like him. But he had a trial and it turned out he did run ammunition for the Italians. And the woman who was the witness who'd pushed his arm, she said 10 minutes before he did it, he was talking to a guy in very expensive clothes with a silk top hat who seemed to be giving him instructions and then walked away. And then they found archived documents and they found this guy's memoirs. And he went into great detail. Turns out he did work for MI5. He was a double agent. And the deal was, I think he got paid a lot of money and he only got 12 months in prison for attempting to kill the king.
Who goes out with a loaded revolver, fires it and fails to kill the king and only gets 12 months in jail? I mean, that guy got 5 years for firing a blank gun, didn't he, at Queen Elizabeth?
I forget the guy's name. And the theory is that they were thinking Edward was just such a nightmare, maybe just bump him off, just get rid of him and skip to the next one. But also, Lady C's book, she infers that the Queen Mother did her own fair share of shit stirring because she really wanted to be queen. She wanted to marry David. She even put something out in the newspaper saying she was engaged to David at one point, and he had to say, no, I'm not engaged to her. I don't fancy her. So she had ambitions to be the queen anyway. Well, I suppose there was a lot of Machiavellian stuff going on. Whichever way you look at it, David lost, didn't he? Completely lost.
Yeah, but we'd have still finished up with Queen Elizabeth, but not until the mid-70s.
Yes, she would have been...
she'd still have been first in line for the throne.
Princess Elizabeth.
Even if he hadn't have abdicated, we just would have...
When did he die? 70s?
Mid-70s, I think.
Yes.
But then we would have dispensed with...
The king was a Nazi sympathiser. Well, apparently a lot of the aristos were.
Her father, what was he called? George VI. Wouldn't have been a George VI.
No. But I mean, Lady C goes into a lot of detail about the majority of the book, actually. Big, thick chunk at the front is about Elizabeth and Wallis. David did lose, yes, he did. I haven't really established why he felt he had absolutely no choice. They sort of painted him into a corner because, as Graham said many times, he could have just put his foot down and said, I'm king, that's it.
I said he was weak, and this is one of the things I've admired Charles for.
Yes,
because
well...
Charles is married to a divorced woman, and he just put his foot
Charles
down and he
is a
said,
divorced man, as we all know.
She's my wife, she's going to be queen, and that's it. I thought, well, good on you, mate. Good on you, because it's his show, isn't it? Wouldn't have given it all that. I'm throwing my teddy in the corner, I resign as king. No, bollocks. So, if I'd been David, I would have just said, right, that's it, I'm king. This is my wife, I'm going to marry her. What are you going to do about it? And I'd have married her. And if he said, no, I couldn't marry her, I'd say, well, I'll take her everywhere with me on my arm anyway, and she's going to wear this crown because she's not the queen.
To David, David only had about a year to get his way, whereas Charles, it's happened over decades, little bit, hasn't it? Didn't all happen overnight. I mean, if he had become king, let's say in 1998, the year after Diana died, would he be married to Camilla? I'll wager not, because of fresh public feeling and
well, he's here,
sentiment.
The king's on
yes.
Now. Ask him.
Tell us, how did you do it? How did you swing it?
Come on, Charlie boy. Tell me all.
David told Hitler he would be king of the new British Republic. Well, that's another thing. I can't remember who it was who said it, but the quote is in Lady C's book that Hitler said that the Queen Mother was the most dangerous woman in Europe. And I think he was right. Hitler was right. But the point is, how do they know Hitler said that? I can't remember who it was who said he said it. And how does he even know about her manoeuvres? And I'm guessing through Wallis and David, probably. And apparently Hitler was obsessed with the royal family. He wrote to King George V before the invasion of Poland, Second World War. He wrote to him and said, I hope having German roots, you'll just stay neutral and then I'll leave your island out of it and maybe it'll bring you in as a monarch later on. Because dictators can be really weird about royal families. Like Franco, he brought King Juan Carlos
Why did he want
back.
to be made king again? Why did he resign in the first place?
Who? David?
Yeah.
I'm guessing again he was forced out. I mean, that's what I'm guessing about Harry and Meghan. They were either Harry stormed out or they were thrown out. I don't think David was that. The Queen Mother said I was going to be a useless king and was as thick as mint. Well,
Why did he call her Cookie?
let's not being rude. She was one of the two.
I'm sure that's what David called her.
It was because
Cookie.
she and her brother were what they called Benjamins, born of the cook. That's in Lady C's book as well.
Is it?
You got enough room there, mate?
Am I cramping?
Well, you're sort of invading onto my...
Cramping your style, am I, darling?
My
on my
chair.
wooden chair.
And I do recall, I can't remember which archbishop it was. Might have been Runcie. He said, when Diana and Charles got divorced, he said, of course, Charles will never be able to remarry as long as his first wife lives. I think that was the unfortunate remark. And I deeply suspect Cookie. Deeply.
Think she'd have the power to do that? Though?
Yes.
Without the monarch and the prime minister knowing?
Yes. I think if you underestimate that woman. Everybody thinks she was a cutesy little granny who wore feathers and fur and was just absolutely lovely and adorable. I think she was utterly ruthless. Utterly ruthless.
No comment.
So, I mean, just to clarify that, I've never thought that the actual Charles, Philip, Elizabeth had anything to do with anything that happened to Diana. I believe it was some sort of old guard that, God, just had some really weird ideas.
Michelle says, please explain born of the cook.
Oh, right. Elizabeth's mother, Bowes Lyon family, according to Lady C, she'd already had a couple of children, I think, and either couldn't have any more or didn't want to, so the dad shagged the cook. A surrogacy situation, shall we say.
Hence he called her Cookie. She knew what it meant.
It's in Lady C's book, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. It's an unusual expression to call them Benjamins. I don't know why they call them that.
I don't know.
Henry II got rid of a troublesome priest, so why not? And in modern day, one troublesome scientist, Dr. D. Kelly. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? He sort of slit his throat on a tree or something. It's like, what's the other fella called? Cook. Robin Cook.
Robin.
I think he said a few times, I feel my life's at risk, and then he went hiking and he jumped off a cliff or something. They said, oh.
I thought he was the
He
foreign
left a
secretary.
He was. He died.
Did he?
Don't you watch the news? There were loads of people who die under mysterious
circumstances. He was a scruffy little gnome when he was in the Labour Party. All of a sudden, they got in and he was foreign secretary. And all of a sudden, he's in an Armani suit. And he's all posh and he's like, yes, I'm
well, he disagreed with Blair.
Here in the Foreign Office, next minute, he's gone, isn't he? He's just dead.
He disagreed with Blair. I mean, God knows, I don't think it's necessarily prime ministers or members of the royal family that give orders about this stuff. Certainly not having read that book. Nobody told them to bump off Edward VIII or even attempt it. They seem to, along the way, have become a little bit of a...
How could a security service be authorised to bump off the monarch? I don't think it's possible that can happen. That's got to be treason.
I think technically it is treason, but
I can't think of any circumstance.
In the book, they even say that at the time some of them made notes and said, well, we were instructed by George V to have David under very heavy surveillance and Wallis. But when George V died, they were like, is what we're doing really okay? Because he's the boss now. And they formed the conclusion, in the interests of national security, yes. And I suppose from that moment forth, they just have become a law unto themselves, really. I think that they leak stories to the newspapers, embarrassing stories. I think they have a whole department that deals with things like that. One of the reasons I'm interested in it is because I'm interested to know who's really going to bring Meghan down. And I've always felt it will be the British Secret Service, British intelligence that will bring her down. She had a cauldron. Benjamin was the biblical Joseph's youngest brother, the last of 12. Thank you. Queen Mum had an evil glint in her eye when she smiled. She was a very, very clever woman. I mean, Lady C describes her as someone she has great admiration for. that she admires certain qualities of Elizabeth, but she is under no illusion that Elizabeth was and could be a ruthless opponent. Doesn't Benjamin's refer to the last-born son? Maybe, possibly. You'd have to buy the book and read it yourself. I don't want to give too much of the
Our
game away.
last-born son was Benjamin.
Well, yeah, I wanted to call him Benson, but because the surname's Hesketh,
Benson
my
and Edges.
stepfather-in-law said they'll sound like Benson and Edges, but no one knows that these days. The cook was French, named Marguerite. Okay, I won't read the rest of it. Hence, she was Elizabeth Angel Marguerite. Oh, right, so they weren't that covert about it, were they? But apparently Lady C said that's quite a common thing, you know, it's a surrogacy arrangement sort of thing. The kids are pretty big. Archie is on Harry's lap on the golf cart. Looks like he was driving on a golf cart, eh? Everybody remember the lady at the golf caddy place? Said, oh yeah, I know Meghan, she's got a daughter, hasn't she? She's been married before, hasn't she? Good for her. Remember that? Oh, you're way behind on the comments.
No, up to date.
I bet MI5, 6 have many big files on MM. I think they've got big files on everybody, especially with it being so accessible these days with the internet. Nasty, devious, scheming woman, in my opinion. Which one? Meghan?
Queen Mother.
Queen Mother.
I think
yes.
she's referring to the Queen Mother. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, yes, she certainly. I'll tell you what I noticed about the Queen Mother. When she was alive, I felt Margaret felt very put down by her, just by watching them, not from reading stuff. And I also felt that the Queen lived in her shadow. Like the Queen always used to dress down and kind of frumpy. Or her mother always had to be bigger, bolder, more glamorous. And when her mother died, that's when Her Majesty started to wear brighter colours, different shaped hats, and Angela Kelly, of course, came along. And I really felt that she felt she lived under the Queen Mother's thumb a little bit. And I bet you also, just my imagination, I'm not sure Philip and the Queen Mother always got on. Any guesses of the 177 names that will show up in the Epstein file logs? Don't know. We'll have to wait till January for that, won't we? Book is Spying and the Crown. Yes, it is.
Can you show it again?
And it wasn't very expensive. And there's a picture of the Queen. I think she's watching a horse race or something like that.
It's an ISBN number. There you go. You can freeze frame it and
yeah, I got it off Amazon. I think it was about
grab that.
€10 or something. And I'm not actually very good at reading books. Books have got to keep my attention, and this one's doing it. But why has M been given such a long leash? I wish they'd exposed her already. Well, I think what the Windsors are doing is waiting for them to run out of money. And as I said before, they probably get lines of credit opened up to them just because of who they are. Especially as, right, a lot of us here in this community have known this is going to turn bad from the beginning. But the majority of the general public are only just starting to cotton on. So creditors will only just be starting to cotton on. Look at Penguin Random House. They give him a retainer for a book. Sounds like he hasn't made any money for them on that. Spotify gave them money up front thinking they were gold dust. Turns out that was a bad idea. Netflix probably gave them money up front. They're now regretting it. Do you see what I mean? And it's really only in the last 9 months that the gestation period of their downfall, that the general population have started to think, oh God, they're going to be potless. And with Endgame and Omid Scobie obviously so closely affiliated to them, they helped him with Finding Freedom. No one believes that they didn't help with Endgame. That's going to make creditors very, very nervous, because the only reason creditors are going to give them credit is because they get on with the actual Windsors who have bottomless pits of money. They see some shit like Endgame going, hey, King Charles, Catherine, William. Creditors are going to go, cut the credit. I want them to pay it back now. And I wouldn't mind betting they've been receiving a few emails, telephone calls, and maybe they've been out shopping and credit cards have stopped working. That's the level of damage, and it is purely self-inflicted. Let's just say for a moment Meghan and Harry are completely innocent and Omid Scobie guessed the names psychically. Doesn't matter. She did Oprah. Oprah was the thing. She damaged herself. Then there were the Jason North emails exposing they helped with finding freedom. Doesn't matter now. No one's going to believe her. The people said that the Queen would never have done the 007 skit had the Queen Mum been alive. Yeah, also Margaret, to get back at the Queen Mum, always pointed out that she was not... Yes, you've obviously read Lady C's book, yes. You're absolutely right. I mean, I just think the Queen found her fun side. She just looked to me a little bit under the thumb when her mother was alive. Did you say they are going to be goblins?
So I should that one back. There you go, Rachel Green. Every
New monarch seems to bring a change. Have you noticed more trousers are being worn by the senior royals for events that wouldn't have been worn when the Queen ruled? I have always felt Catherine dressed down, Sophie dressed down while the Queen was alive, and now she's passed away. I think it's almost like a sign of respect to an older female member of the royal family. Like, I won't show you up. I'll dumb it down so as not to make you feel bad. But then afterwards, because Sophie particularly is looking very glamorous and quite sexy these days, isn't she? The rest of his inheritance is spent before he got it on more court cases than anything. Yeah, God, can you imagine? Can you imagine his sleepless nights? Have you seen the new kids' photos in Costa Rica? I'm a bit late here. You may already have covered this. No, I heard the story about Costa Rica, but I haven't seen photos. Maybe the Daily Mail have got something. Because you see, I don't get Daily Mail on my Google searches. I have to go to the Daily Mail. That's how rinsed Google is. I don't get any of the UK newspapers. I get Newsweek, BuzzFeed. I don't get anybody who's going to say anything bad. I have to seek it out, which is so laughable when the sugars say to me, oh, it's your algorithm. No, it fucking isn't. I have to type in DAILYMAIL. Obviously, the Sun's easier.
Well, we've hit an hour, pussykittens.
We have. Let me just look for this. See if I can find it. I'm not seeing any. Mind you, I've noticed on the Daily Mail, Meghan and Harry's stories are less and less the top story. Sometimes they are, but a lot of the time, they're way down the newspaper. Like the Daily Mail, like, oh, God, them again. No, I'm not seeing anything there. But I will keep my eyes out.
Sidley Twins live page.
Right, but I would have thought there would be some sort of photograph.
Grumpy Sapper says change your search engine. Paddington Bear skit, yeah. Remember that one?
Yeah, she had a good sense of fun. Good streak on her.
When she was allowed to reveal it.
I will look it up. I will try and find the photograph.
Once the Queen Mother and Philip were out of the way, she could do what she wanted, I suppose.
Yes.
I reckon they were definitely telling her what to do. I mean,
I think she probably got caught between conflict between her mother and her sister and her mother and her husband. And I think the Queen Mother was a very domineering.
I reckon Prince Philip and the Queen Mother clashed quite a lot.
I reckon
they were both really strong personalities and they argued. And the Queen would just be there trying to keep the peace between the two of them.
Yeah. But she certainly came into her own. And I said that to you before the Queen Mother died. I said, I bet you when the Queen Mother dies, you're going to see a different Queen.
With Paddington Bear.
Right. Thank you all very, very much for joining us tonight. I think we're going to end the live and we will see you same time tomorrow night, same place.
Good night, and may your God go with you.